Hello. Welcome. So in the last class we did essay 260. So we will be doing essay 265 in this one. So essay 265, if you see, belongs to the 200 series, and this is asked for approximately 5 marks in every attempt. So it is an important series. So let's start with essay 265. Now what does essay 265 talk about? Essay 265 talks about communicating deficiencies in internal control to TCWG and management. So IEC stands for internal control. So you have to communicate deficiencies if there are any deficiencies in your internal control. So you have to communicate those to TCWG and management. Now, deficiency in internal control. What is deficiency in internal control? What do you mean by deficiency in internal control? Deficiency in internal control is the inability of internal control to prevent, detect, and correct misstatement. That is your internal controls that you have set in place. What are internal controls for? To prevent any risk of material misstatement or to reduce it to an acceptably low level. So if your internal control is unable to prevent, detect or correct misstatements, then we can say that there is a deficiency in internal control. Now what does your second point say? Second point says that the absence of control necessary to prevent, detect and correct misstatements. So first one says that internal control exists but it is unable to prevent, detect, correct misstatement. And the second one says that the internal control itself is absent. There is no internal control. Okay, so we will talk about the auditor's responsibility. So auditor's responsibilities is two. One is he will first have to identify what deficiencies are there in the internal control, and second is he will have to communicate those in writing to TCWG and management. So under the point identification of deficiencies in internal control, he will have to determine whether on the basis of work done, deficiency in internal control is identified. That is, in all the work that he has performed, all the audit procedures that he has performed, if during those audit procedures he has identified any deficiencies in internal control, so that he will have to first determine. Then what does the second point say? Determine whether individually or in combination they constitute significant deficiency. That is either the internal control deficiency in itself or this internal control plus more internal control, if they together they constitute significant deficiencies. Then the third point talks about indicators of significant deficiencies, as to when there might be significant deficiencies in internal control. What are your indicators? What are your conditions? So the first point talks about ineffective aspects of control environment. The control environment that you have put in place, that is not 100% effective. So there may be possible that there are possible internal control deficiencies. What is the second? Entity's risk assessment procedures are ineffective. So the entity itself also assesses risks, also perform risk assessment procedure to determine in case of to determine any risk of material misstatement. So if those procedures itself are ineffective, that can be an indicator for deficiencies. Your third point is ineffective response to identified significant risks. Okay, so once the company has identified the risk, so now they have to take action, they have to take some response to it. So the response that they took for it, that is ineffective. So ineffective response to identified significant risks. What is your fourth point? Correction of prior period misstatements arising due to fraud or error. So if in case any prior period corrections were done in the current period, those are indications that boss, there are possible cases of internal control deficiencies. And your last part is management's inability to oversee financial statements preparation. If the management is not overseeing the financial statement preparation process, it may be possible, it is an indicator that there might be significant deficiencies. Okay. Now your second is communication of deficiencies. So how do you have to communicate? Remember, it should be in writing. Your communication of internal control deficiency, they should be in writing. Now the next part is to whom. So one is TCWG. To TCWG, since TCWG is upper management, so they are even higher than management. They oversee the entire company. So to them, you will only tell them about significant deficiencies. You will only give in writing significant deficiencies. But to your management, you will have to give them significant as well as other deficiencies. Remember, so to TCWG, that is those charged with governance, you only have to give significant deficiencies, but to management you have to give significant and other deficiencies. And next is what. So to TCWG you have to give description of deficiencies, and to management you also have to give explanation of their potential effects. So this what is common for both of them, that is description of deficiencies and explanation of their potential effect. This has to be done for both, but for TCWG it is only significant deficiencies, or for management it is significant and other deficiencies both. Okay, this is page number 9 for all of you who have purchased the physical copy, so that you can use those notes while listening to the video. The next is matters that auditor may consider in determining whether a deficiency in internal control is significant. Okay, so you have identified that there is a deficiency in the internal control. Now how will you determine whether this deficiency is significant or not? Because over here we've spoken that only significant deficiencies would be communicated. So only these deficiencies which are significant. So you'll have to identify that which deficiencies are significant deficiencies. So your first point is likelihood of deficiencies leading to material misstatement in the financial statements in the future. If there is high likelihood that these deficiencies will lead to a material misstatement, so it becomes a significant deficiency. What is the second? Susceptibility to loss or fraud of the related asset or liability. So the internal control deficiency, whichever asset it was safeguarding, if inefficiency or deficiency of the internal control may lead to loss or fraud of the related asset, then it becomes a significant deficiency. What does the third point say? Subjectivity and complexity of determining estimated amounts such as fair value, accounting estimates, etc. So if there is any subjectivity, if it is not clear, and there is any complexity, that is how difficult it is in determining the estimated amount such as fair value accounting estimate, then it becomes a significant deficiency. Fourth point talks about volume of activity that has occurred in the account balance or class of transactions exposed to deficiency. What does it say? Volume of activity that has occurred. So, for example, you identify a ledger. You identify a ledger where there is a deficiency, where there is an internal control deficiency. Now, the amount of transactions that take place through that ledger will affect whether this internal control failure or this internal control deficiency is significant or not. Hence, the volume of activity that has occurred in the account balance or class of transactions exposed to the deficiency. Higher the volume, more significant will be the deficiency. And the last point is the cause and frequency of exceptions detected as a result of deficiencies in the controls. Let's read it again. The cause and frequency of exceptions detected as a result of deficiencies in the control. So because there is a deficiency in the control, first you have to identify what the cause is and how many times does this occur, how many times does this deficiency occur, that is the frequency. So higher frequency would mean a significant deficiency in internal control. So very small essay, nothing much to focus on. Our next essay will be essay 299, and I'll see you in those lecture.